So live blood analysis is not a diagnostic tool. We're able to look at our blood in a way that we're never able to see it. The blood is a living organism. It's the river of our life, really. It's, without the blood, then we're not going to be delivering oxygen and nutrients and taking away waste products, and our tissue can't be healthy. There's such benefit in being able to see your blood and seeing the health of your red blood cells. There's a complete different picture from someone who's potentially compromising their blood through diet and lifestyle, and someone who's eating well and doing the correct things. It is reflected in the blood. The things that we can see in live blood analysis is really how the immune system is functioning. If the liver is stressed, that can show up as well. Certain nutritional deficiencies such as B12 and iron, for example. If somebody's having a very high fat diet, then we can pick that up as well, because it's showing up in the blood and we can point things out. I mean, those are just the highlights, but as I said, it's not a diagnostic tool. You can't say you've got this or that. But if you did notice things in the blood, then you'd probably direct that client to go and have a full blood test and just see if those markers correlate. But we can also see subclinical levels as well. So before a problem has manifested, we may pick up on low B12 before it's actually showing up in the blood test. If we're not having the correct diet and we're having a lot of food with chemicals in them, for example colorings, if we are drinking water that's just municipal tap water which has got the chlorine and the fluoride, and also medications can't be filtered out of the tap water, so we're having maybe medications and hormones that we wouldn't otherwise get, things like this. If we're not really mindful about what we're putting into our bodies, that does have a reflection on the blood, which we can see, through poor lifestyle. If we're drinking structured water, for example, that makes a huge difference to the blood. Oxygenated water as well. You can see that it really does help charge up the red blood cells to be able to do the job that they've got to do. So I've been working with the oxygen water for about the last 4 to 5 years. And I've probably tested about 100 people's blood before and after drinking the oxygen water. And when you drink the oxygen water, it completely and utterly helps the red blood cells to not stick together. It zoops up what we call the zeta potential. The outside of a red blood cell has a negative charge. That's what repels them from each other and makes them, flow through our body, through the vascular system and right down to the microcapillary. Red blood cells have to be very flexible as well. They're 7 to 8 microns in diameter. And a red blood cell, or the microcapillaries, are 3 to 4. So sometimes they have to squeeze in one by one. It's not really something that people think about every day. But the health of the red blood cell, the membrane edge, and the fact that it carries the oxygen to tissue and nutrients to tissue and then takes away all the waste. If they're flowing nicely and they're able to do their job, then the body is healthy. But if they're stuck together and not able to get to tissue, down to microcapillary, then that's when we can start to have problems. I think the biggest benefit that we actually saw physically in the blood was the fact that the blood was able to, flow very freely, especially if someone's blood hadn't been that way previously, if it was a bit coagulated and the blood cells were attracted to each other. We did the testing where we were looking at blood about 10 minutes after somebody drank the water, and we could see the immediate change and the switch up in the blood. And then we looked at the blood 2 hours later, and we could still see that the blood was improved. It was still very much flowing and whizzing around. And then we did another test about 2 hours after that, and then we can see that the blood started to go back to its original state. I've looked at just normal water, tap water, bottled water. So it's not down to hydration, it's to do with the fact that the nano-bubbles of oxygen are actually improving the zeta potential of the blood. Your blood is the most important thing because it's delivering the oxygen and the nutrients that your body needs to be healthy. If your blood's not flowing, then we know, when people with diabetes, for example, they have capillary issues where the blood can't get, down to tissue, and that's when they start having amputations, etc., because the tissue dies. It's very, very important to, for blood to be flowing. The red blood cells pick up oxygen from the lungs, so if they're flowing better, they're delivering oxygen better. So yes, it would have an impact on breathing.